Hello guys, so it's your guy Billionaire again, Billy FS. Alright, so today we are going to talk about advanced ICC. We know ICC, trace by side, concepts brought about by this guy, trace by side. Okay, so you can check him out on what? On YouTube. And check him out on YouTube. Just type trace by side on YouTube and I'm going to get him. He teaches for free, everything is for free. He doesn't charge mentorship or everything, so you can learn from him for free and learn how to actually read market structure by him or through his what perspective. So today we are going to look at an advanced version of what he teaches. That is indication, correction, and continuation. If you don't know, ICC stands for what? Indication, indication. That is equal to the I, right? Then another one stands for the correction. That is equal to the C, okay? Then you have continuation. That will be equal to the T. So you see we have the initials ICC, indication, correction, and continuation. And it's not something that is difficult. It's just like the same thing in smart money concept, but it has been named what differently in my what perspective. The most different thing about ICC and SMC is that we enter differently. For ICC, we enter differently, and for SMC or smart money concept, we enter differently. So for smart money concept, let's say we are going to make a high, low, high, low, right, and a high. Now, what we are going to do is that in smart money concept, we find another block over here, okay, or a breaker block around this area. Then we buy, we find for confirmation, maybe a pin bar or a bullish engulfing pattern, or we look at the lower time frame to see if the market is what is shifting, okay, so that we can take our entry maybe at a fair value gap or that block breaker block, the same what concept. So we do top-down analysis and you know when the market is shifting and you use breaker blocks, another blocks and fair value gaps to enter into the trade. That is what I that is SMC rather. But for the ICC, we don't care about other block or breaker block. Actually, you don't even have to know about other block and breaker block to be able to trade ICC. All that you just care about is that the market has made a push up. The market has made a push up. It now makes a push down. Okay, so this over here, we know in smart money concept is what you call a break of structure, right? Shift in market structure, not a shift in market structure actually, because that one is a little bit different. This is the break of structure. The market breaks this high over here and it closes above. So this high over here has been what? Broken. That's why you call it what? Break of structure. Now you wait for a pullback. We know that the market moves in waves. So you wait for the what? Pullback. Okay. Now when the pullback is over, whatever is going to cause the pullback to be over, we don't care. We don't care. That is not what we are trading. It can be a fair value gap, it can be an order block. We don't care about that. All that you care about is that the pullback will be over and come above this level. Because when it comes above this level, we assume that a correction is what? Over. Or the pullback is what? Over. So we are going to what? Have this expansion leg. So we buy around here, you place our stop loss below this low that has been formed, and you target the highs. Okay, we can target here. The actual concept is that we target this high over here. But if the market is making, if the market is here and you place your stop loss here and the target here, that is going to be what? 1:1. So we assume that the expansion is going to break above this high. So we don't target this high, we target above what this high to complete the swing structure. If the market comes here and starts reversing, then we might be in a consolidation. So maybe we get taken out at break even or what? We stay in and we take what? Stop loss. All right, so this is ideal ICC. I like to see ideal stuff and practical stuff because this is what I will tell you. But when you go to the chart, this is not what you're going to see. You're going to see something different. Sometimes you see something nice like this. You see the market move up, to move down, it will print this, it will print this, then it does something like this. This is a perfect example of ICC. But the market is very dynamic. And based on the context that the market is trading in, it is not going to always give you perfect ICC examples, right? So one, we are going to have the ideal situation. We are going to have the ideal situation. Let me say the ideal case. Okay. Then we're going to have the practical case. Okay. So this is the ideal case of what ICC. Ideal case of ICC. So let me call it ideal ICC. Ideal ICC. Let me just put it here so that we know this is the ideal situation. Now, there are several ways by which the practical ICC can unfold. So we have to look at them one by one. Okay. Now, this is based on experience and what is actually happening in the market based on the context or the story that the market is what telling. So if you want to be able to identify some of these things, you will be able to what increase your win probability using ICC what strategy or ICC system or market structure of trading. Okay. So the first thing that I'll talk to you about, so let's call it case one. Let me put this here. Let me hide the chart. Okay. After that, you come to the chart and you look at some examples. And you see that everything that I'm talking to you about is just going to be there. Okay, waiting for somebody to just discover them and talk about it. And now I'm talking about it. So you should thank your star. You should thank your stars. All right. So first thing first, let's assume the market is going up. So let's call it case one. Okay, I'll type it up there. Assume the market is going up. It breaks above this level that is sitting right here. So this is the indication in ICC. Okay. So now you're expecting the correction and the continuation, but it's not going to be like that. Okay. It is going to be like this. Assume that this is the structure that the market is what coming up with, coming down with. For the correction, it happens most of the time, right? Now we come below this level where the indication what started. Let me call this case one so that we don't confuse ourselves. What is this? All right, case one. Okay, we are going to look at several cases. I don't know when it's going to end, but when I know that you've exhausted a lot of these things, I will know. So just let's look at it. Bear with me and let's look at them. Now, when you see the structure coming down like this, let's say we make this high over here, okay, and we make a low over here. Let me adjust this one a little bit. Let me adjust the level of indication so that it will match with what I'm trying to put across. Let me adjust it here. Okay, so now you see that now we are below the level of what indication. Now we come above the level of indication. Now, ideal ICC says that when we come here and you made a pullback, immediately we come above the level of what? The level of indication that is here, you buy. Okay, so buy here, buy here, buy here. This is what happens. Buy here. Okay, but that is not going to be the case. For this one, you see the market is dropping with what structure. So when the market moves above this area, it doesn't mean that you should buy. And when it comes here below and moves above, it doesn't mean you should buy. It means the market is simply following the structure that is what is trying to boil down until the structure that the market is retracing with has been obliterated or has been spoiled or has been broken. We do not do anything. We wait. We simply wait for that structure to be spoiled. So we wait for something like this, right? So now we know that the market has broken above the previous high. So we know that the trend might be changing. So now when you get something like this one is a new indication, right? That above this small level we are what bullish. When you get something like this and we come above that level again, we can now buy because we know that the structure has shifted. The structure that the market is coming down with has now shifted and we are above a level of indication. So we can now what buy around here and put our stop loss either below this small low or below here. But I advocate that you place it here because sometimes if you place it here, the market will just come back just a little bit like this and build new structure to the top, right? That is the practical situation. You are not going to always get an ideal situation. I think indication, correction, and a continuation, and you buy here simple as ABCD and you go. It won't happen. Most of the time, you are going to see some things like this, and you have to pay attention to the market structure before you'll be able to what? You'll be able to make profit off of these things. All right, case two. is 2. Okay, it's 2. Let's look at something like this. Assume a bullish structure again. They all apply in the bearish conditions too. This is an uptrend, okay? So let's say we have something like this. And now we have the market do something like this. And something like this. Okay. Now this is an indication that above this level we are what? We are bullish. Alright. This is another indication that above this level we are bullish. Okay. Now let me extend this one a little bit. This is the overall market structure, assuming we are having something like this. Now, when we make this indication, we come above it, making the indication, we make the correction, and we start to build structure like this. Like I said, we wait for market structure to be broken before we try to what? We try to get into. If you don't have a single line coming in, single drop of candles coming in, a single drop of candles going up, you don't just buy. When the market is building structure, we wait for that structure to be what? We wait for that structure to be broken before we get in. So assume we have something like this, what do we get? And we break above this high setting right here, and we break above this high setting right here. Then we know that, okay, now we have a new indication that above this level we are bullish, but the market is trying to what? A shift structure to align with the overall market structure. They wait for the pullback. When the market comes here, we buy, you place our stop loss below this low or this low, and I'll take profit at what? At the next high, or extending it, hoping that the market will continue with the profile that is trying to what? Print. Now, the most important thing over here is that you see, we came above this level making a new indication. Okay, but we also came about this level making a new indication. Now this is very tricky because people expect the indication to be made on just one level, like this: indication, correction, and continuation. People expect this to happen, but practicality, like I said, ideal situation, this is what you get: ideal ICC, ideal, okay? But practical ICC, we get something funnier, that it needs experience to what to work with, or it needs understanding of market structure to what to work it. If you can't get that experience, if you can't get that market structure, you are going to what harm yourself. Okay. So we made the indication about this level we are bullish. About this level we are bullish. Above this level we are also bullish. So let's assume that we've already entered a trade over here. This thing shouldn't have copied because I'm putting control. All right. You've already entered a trade over here and we are in a buy trade. We've already taken a trade over here and we are in a buy trade. You expect the market to what? Move up like that. And now we want to re-enter. So the market made indication above this level and indication above this level too. Where are we going to enter? That is the question. Where are you going to enter? Are you going to wait for the market to make a deep correction down here and use this level? Or we are going to wait for the market to use this level alone? Okay, now here's the trick. Most of the time, 90 to 80, should I say 80 to 90? Okay, 80 to 90% of the time, you have to wait for the most recent one, or the first one that was what's broken. There are going to be mostly other levels that the market will break over here that are also going to indicate indication, but 90% of the time it uses the most recent level or the first level that is what it has broken. So in this case, when you get something like this and like this, you buy, right? You get a pullback and we come above the correction, we come above the level of indication, you buy, okay? Or you get a pullback like this and you come back above the level of correction, you buy. Don't forget that the pullback must be single candles, right? If you want to trade the ideal situation like this, it must be just single candles coming in. There are pullbacks that are not single candles, all right? There are pullback that are not single candles. I think I don't have to just talk about this. I have to show you something on the chart so that you don't mess it up and you know what I'm trying to talk about. Now, let me get you an example over here. Yes, this is a perfect example. Let's look at this market. Let's look at this market. We made a high, we made a low. Now, we made a high and a retracement The retracement that is supposed to come over here and come and mitigate whatever. This is another block that it was mitigating. It didn't just retrace in a single straight line. It did what? It made a low over here, made a high, then it started something like this. What is this? Okay, what is this? This is one of the practical market structure that I was talking about, and that is what? That is case one. Okay, you can see that is what case one. Case one. Okay, let me check out case one so that you know. Where's case one? Where's case one? You can see there's a case one. You can see the market went up, it went up, then it started what retracing like this, then it's trying to what go up again. That is what case one. Okay, let me delete this and do it again. Made a high, made a low, made a high. We are expecting a retracement, and the retracement started building market structure down. So what did I say about this? We have to wait for this market structure that is building down to be what? To be taken away, right? But that didn't happen. We made this move up, right? Then we retraced a little bit, then we made another move up. Okay, so how do you understand something like this? Let me just pull it down, put it down here. So you can see here, we made indication at above this level we are hot, we are buying. All right. Now the market started what? Started coming down very nicely, but it didn't shift structure. So we have to wait, right? It went up here, it went down, but it hasn't shifted structure there. Though it made a higher low over here instead of a lower low, you could have anticipated that okay, this move is the end of the what? Of the trend, and the market might move up. But sometimes it will make something like this and it will consolidate and start what dropping. So we have to wait for a confirmation, or you can take a risky trade and say, okay, when it come above this level, because you feel to make a lower low, I'm still going to buy. And when I take a stop loss, that is fine. If that is okay with you, you can do that. If that is not okay, you have to wait for more confirmation. But we see we didn't just break above this little level over here. What did we do? We broke above this level, one. We broke above this level, two. We broke above this little level over here, but let's consider the high one. I don't want to mark everything to make the chart messy, right? So we broke above one, two, three levels, right? So which one did he use? He used the most recent level. In most cases, it will just use the most recent level or the first level that you broke. Okay, then it is going to what? Keep on moving up. So if you expect the correction to come down over here, you are joking. The indication has already happened. The indication has already happened over here, and the correction is just this little thing that we used around here, right? Sometimes I don't like seeing these things as correction, like single candles like this moving a little bit down as correction. I like to wait for what? I like to wait for full pullback like this. But if you're on the lower time frame and you're trading this, you have just use this as your what? As your, just a little bit of rate test at this level, and what? Traded this thing up, right? In the condition that I'm talking about, in the practical condition that I'm talking about, I would have considered what this. I would have considered this move up and down to be the correction. I wouldn't expect a correction to come down here. I would expect a correction to maybe, use this one as a rate test, and if you use this as a rate test by tapping into this what other block. I don't want to talk about other block because ICC we don't talk about other blocks, but it's good to know, right? It's good to see that when the market comes here, it is in another block. So when it is reversing, when it is reacting, the reaction is what? Genuine. All right. So this is something that you have to take notice of. These things come with experience. They come with what? Experience. Studying charts a lot of time. I can spend days, every day, 6 o'clock. Maybe you might not have that time, but days in the morning, 9 o'clock in the PM, just studying charts and trying to what? See patterns, right? Back testing, forward testing, doing case studies, and a whole lot of what stuff. So, like my eyes have been trained to see some of this stuff. So it is very important that what we know them. So take notice of this. All right, let me delete these things. So where was I? Case two. Yeah. So this case two, we have to what? We have to take this thing into consideration. Now, there's case three. Okay, there's case three, which is also something that you have to take notice of. Case three, case three. Now, case three is more of liquidity sweep or something. Because sometimes we wouldn't have an ideal situation. We have something like this. indication, correction, the correction will do something like this, and it will come back above this level, right? To show you that maybe it is going to continue, or the continuation is going to what happen. Okay, so when it does something like this, you see, it has made indication at about this level by making this high that is sitting right here. It made indication at about this level we are bullish. Then it made another indication at below this level we are bearish. So which one are you going to use? This indication or this indication? But the trick is when you move up time frame, let's say that this one that you are looking at is on the what? On the 30 minutes time frame. So if you move up time frame, like maybe the 1 hour time frame or the 2 hour time frame or the 4 hour time frame, and you see that this is just a wick, do not go too much up time frame. Maybe on the 1 hour time frame, so that this is just an aggressive move, an aggressive move up, leaving what a wick here. You know that this is a liquidity sweep, and you can consider this indication to be what valid by looking at the market to come again to this place so that we can look for what buys at this area. This is what a simple case of what liquidity sweep. But when it is not a wick that broke below this low and it is a body, do not try to what assume that the market is going to reverse again and come back about this level and continue to move up. Though it does that sometimes, but we have to have rules that we have to follow so that it becomes systematic with our strategy. We don't leave a lot of things to what subjectiveness. Subjectiveness is good in trading, but it doesn't have to what be so much. If it is too much, it is going to ruin your trading. And if it doesn't exist, then you're going to trade like a robot and you're going to fall because trading bots they don't work. That's one thing that you have to know. Why? Because they lack that subjectiveness. If I see something like this, I might say it's a liquidity sweep, but a trading bot might say that okay, it's an indication. They wait for a correction and will try to buy here, sell here, but I'll be looking to what to buy here. That's one reason why they don't work because they are too systematic. No mathematical formula can define the market, and that is why trading bots don't work. If there were a systematic way or maybe a mathematical formulaic way to trade, then trading bots would have done well. Even quant or maybe quantitative trading platforms or companies, when they build the trading bots or they build the algorithms or the artificial intelligence to trade for them, they have to optimize it. They have to optimize the values and the parameters that the AI work with so that they have to ensure that they are always ahead of the market. As if they leave the AI to work for the rest of their life, they think that okay, you made it once, it is okay to trade it for the rest of your life. They are just going to what go, or their performance is going to what drop because the market is very what systematic. Okay, so these are just few things that I will just talk to you about. Next time when we meet, we are going to just look at what we're just going to look at maybe examples in a chart and some case studies and maybe examples in a chat and case study. But if you are looking for a specific video, you can just leave the comment in the comment section and I'll come and guide you into understanding what you need to understand. Okay, that is that for this video. All right, I'm signing out. Peace.